What's going on, you guys? We got a lot of new footage in this most recent Star Wars Resistance trailer, and I know a lot of people are not really keen on Star Wars Resistance, but at the same time, a lot of people are. So kind of want to talk about that a little bit more, but specifically some of the new stuff. We get a lot of new scenes of like pirates, and it's kind of unclear if if a lot of these are first order early strike forces from first order, or how much of it is like straight up pirates, or with how they're going to be working together. We also get some new ships and some just some really cool footage in here if you're into new ships. Again, there's a lot of people that are not big fans of this, but one of the things that I want to focus on is the positive. So I tend to look for the bright side in just about anything, and I understand that this is going to be a kids show, and so even if you're not a fan of this, there's so many more things coming out that you can focus on and spend your energy on. Or if you're totally done with Star Wars, then I don't know why you're even watching this video. But even if you're totally done with Star Wars, there's so many other things that you can focus your energy on rather than the negative. So I actually like to point that out. Speaking of one of the positives, we get what has not been confirmed 100% yet, but is pretty much a T-85 X-Wing. Very, very cool. A lot of people thought this was just a T-70 with a different paint job initially, but if you look more closely, you can see that the nose is different, the body and the hull is slightly different. It's still in a lot of ways very similar to a T-70, and it's just different enough that you can't call it a T-70. So and T-85s, the New Republic had them. Again, the New Republic was the official government. If you watch Episode 7, that was the Hosnian system that got wiped out. Their entire fleet pretty much got wiped out. So these are, this show is taking place before that happens. So this is basically the, your M1 Abrams, or your top of the line. Well, it's not a tank, so M1 Abrams is a bad example. But this is basically your top of the line superiority fighter right here. And if you're a tabletop gamer like me, this is a big deal, because this means we could be getting these in X-Wing, and this is going to be this would probably be, my guess is that T-85s would be kind of like the TIE Defender in X-Wing, like the top that the Resistance has, and assuming that Resistance even gets them, because you could make the argument, well, why does the Resistance even have these if the Resistance didn't actually have them? I mean, who else are you going to give them to? It would be my argument. And this may actually lay some groundwork, because it looks like Kaz is flying one of these a little bit at the beginning, and and we also do get, and here's a contrast, we do get the T-70s in here as well. And if you look more closely at the body and at the nose specifically, is one of the biggest ways to tell the difference between these two. You can see that this is the familiar T-70, so you can't just even chalk it up as to, well, that's how they animated them in this show. No, here's a T-70 and here's a T-85. There's a lot of little differences, but the biggest takeaway is that nose and those two little mustache lines below it, as well as some of the lighting on the and I guess these other two are the rear that are flying away, but it looks pretty good. I'm kind of pleased that it's still familiar, but at the same time has a new look. So I'm digging it. And all these space scenes are just pointing out more stuff that I think we're going to be getting in the show. It's not all going to be on that blue planet. I was not a real big fan of the blue background of if every episode was just going to be on the ocean. And so I like to see more space stuff, and I like to see the fact that they're going to have space stuff. Additionally, there's we're getting some new First Order stuff. We're getting what appears to be an interceptor, slightly more curved wings, though. I know this is a red one. This one, they've showed this one a couple of times. That this one is like a cross between an interceptor and an Inquisitor's tie, but I think this is going to be the First Order's new space superiority fighter. It looks like this is a unique one, because you do see this red pilot who's got all red armor. I don't know if that's going to be Captain Cardinal or not, but I like the the red kind of distinguishing this as a unique pilot. And I'm guessing that they don't have a ton of these new interceptors, or what they're going to call them, but I think it's pretty cool. Now, if you are one of these people that are saying that you hate the show, you hate the way it looks, you hate the animation, I've got to point out, I really it reminds me of the TIE Fighter animation that we saw. There was like some dude did a custom YouTube animation of like an anime-styled space battle from the perspective of the Empire. But a lot of these space battles, obviously the animations is different, but the feel of it, for me, it seems similar. Now you're fine to disagree with me on that. But like a lot of the space scenes, like right here that they're showing in the most recent trailer, it really reminds me of this. Obviously, the animation style is different. One is using more computer-generated methods, and this one is like all hand-drawn. And this one reminds me very much more of 80s style animation. But you had this, and this was a great 7-minute clip of, that was done on YouTube. A tremendous effort. And Star Wars fans across the board unanimously absolutely loved this thing. But looking back to a lot of these type of scenes, it seems like we're going to get something at least in that ballpark, but just with a different animation style. But I think the feel of it, that you were going to get a show that's all about the space battles, is one of the things that I think is fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to that. So. I think it's the things that people are really homed in on is the fact that it's a kids show and you have a lot of woohoo moments, and I get that. I get that maybe that's something that you're not a fan of, especially like this guy, and he's always doing his woohoos, and he's very much the character that's in there to appeal to children. I think there's definitely stuff in here to appeal to children. There's a lot of woohoo, almost like kid Anakin Skywalker moments. And I think if that's the case, then maybe you just don't watch the show. If that bothers you that much that you're gonna not want to watch what could potentially be a great space battle show, then there's gonna be other shows lined up. There's more movies coming. There's more shows coming. There's a lot more stuff on the horizon. I mean, honestly, if you're a Star Wars fan and you're eager for quality content, you've never had a better time to be alive than right now, because there's so much stuff coming. There's gonna be something that you like. Look at Rogue One. Even the saltiest fans right now still have been a fan of Rogue One. At least parts of Rogue One. I mean, I really liked Rogue One, especially the last 20 minutes. The problem is that space battle was so amazing that I have a hard time watching the rest of Rogue One. I just want to jump to when Radis takes the fleet and we're going to fight, like that's when the movie begins for me, because that was epic. And this show looks like it's going to be a lot of that last 20 minutes of Rogue One in animated form, with a style that may not be everybody's first choice, but I got to watch it and see how it flows, and how much of the show is the space combat. How much of the show is new ships? Like maybe we're going to even get to see new capital ships. And as you see right here, the Starkiller base is active. There's Imperial capital, or I'm sorry, First Order capital ships. So maybe we'll get to see new stuff, and that really excites me. I'm happy that they're showing Star Destroyers. I'm happy that they're going to focus on space, more so than I thought. And I'm just really thrilled at the possibilities that this is going to bring. So I'd like to hear what you guys think. Are you, if you're somebody who's not liking this show, do you think it's worth at least taking a chance to see if it could remind you of that great 7-minute animation, that TIE Fighter, YouTube cartoon that was made? Do you think that there's a chance that it could evolve into something like that, or do you think the fact that it's that it is a kids show precludes you from even beginning to enjoy it? I think it's going to be great, and I'm gonna love it. But I tend to focus on things that I enjoy rather than things that I hate. There have been things that I was not a fan of. I was not a big fan of Solo, but I still went and bought it anyway, because I think my kids would like it. And, I think it's worth watching again, at least, where you can do freeze frames and look for stuff in the background. But I was not that big of a fan of Solo, but I don't make hate videos talking about how I didn't like Solo. I wanted more space stuff. I like space battles. That was the biggest reason I didn't like Solo, is because it didn't have enough space stuff for me. That was probably the biggest reason. I wanted more space stuff. I like space stuff. So, or Jedi stuff, and there's no Jedi, well, not really any Jedi stuff in there. So, that's kind of me. I like to focus on the positive And I encourage you to do that the same, because I think you'll have more enjoyment and more fulfillment. I do want to remind everybody there is still time to enter to win the latest giveaway. It's for an X-Wing 2.0 core set. All you have to do is become a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Let me know if you're excited about the T-85 X-Wing. You think this is going to show up in X-Wing in maybe one of the first couple of waves that has First Order and Resistance new ships. I think that would be exciting. I think that that new Interceptor is going to show up as well. I think the First Order really needs new ships, and they finally got one canonized on screen that's more clearly canonized, because this actually could have been the ship that was on DJ's ship that he was cycling through. So we could definitely see TIE bombers as well for the First Order, and I'm very eager to see more of that. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out Crabbok.com. You can share the video, hop in Discord and say hi, and check out all my other videos as well, which I'll put links to over here. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.